Hi, my name is Leah Day, and welcome to this video for the Free Motion Quilting Project. Today we're learning a design called daisy chain. It's basically what happens when you take the design Dresden daisies, which is pretty simple and pretty linear, and we're going to add a little extra quilting and a little extra echoing and really stitch it up a notch. This is going to be an edge-to-edge design that's going to work really good in the sashing or borders of your quilt. So let's get on the machine and see how it works in free motion. So I'm going to get started working in a narrow space so that way you can really understand how this design works. And I'm going to just first stitch a simple wiggly line. And it's really nice to start with something like this. If you were quilting this in a quilt, you would take this wiggly line through your entire quilt, through that entire section of your sashing or your border. Okay, I want my first daisy chain to kind of start right here. So I'm going to stitch down. And I'm going to stitch a circle, and this time, kind of one of the ways I'm stitching it up a notch is I'm going to fill that circle with some thread painting, and that's just swinging around and around until it's nice and dark with thread, all the way filled up. There we go. So now that I've filled that with thread, I kind of want to go on ahead and even space out my other daisies, just to kind of have an idea of where they're going to land. Because this is a design where, placement, it's not super important, but it's kind of nice to have an idea of what you're doing, of where those daisies further on are going to be. And if you're lining this up with a block or something, you kind of want to know. You want to have a little game plan. So we've got our thread painted circle, and now I'm going to swing around it with my daisy petals. And you can make these as long as you want. I'm going fairly short this time, because I want this design to really stand out very clearly in this area. And that's another thing, you can always pick and choose how big your daisies are going to be. So that's my first daisy, and now I'm going to echo around this a total of 2 times. So this is pretty similar to the design Amazing Daisies. The only difference here is that we're not going to use this as a foundation. We're not going to continue building these daisies up. I'm going to echo around them a few times and maybe do 2 echoes right here and then extend the petals out so they fill up this little narrow space completely. But I'm not going to continue to fill the whole entire space up with echoes. So it's a little different, but it still has a very beautiful effect on your quilt. So at this point, I'm going to take some of these daisies and I'm just going to kind of stretch them out a little longer. Right here, I'm going to take that all the way out. That's just going to extend the daisies. The one thing you want to be careful of, this is kind of why we spaced these out and figured out where that next one's going to go, so I'm not going to extend these too far, otherwise it won't have any space to be stitched. Its petals won't be able to get nice and long and cute. There we go. I'll kind of end that one up right there. And then just stitch on down and repeat those steps. Just fill in your center circle, stitch your daisy, echo around it 2 or 3 times, and then add your last echo, really stretching that design out till it fills up your space really nicely. So that's it for this design. I really hope that you've enjoyed learning how to quilt a daisy chain. It's a lot of very similar elements that we've already learned. We've already learned Dresden daisies, and we've already learned Amazing Daisies. But this is kind of taking those 2 designs and combining them together and coming up with something that's really fun and funky. And you could stitch this in multiple colors. So you could stitch the single daisy line, kind of Dresden daisies, through your quilt, change thread colors, and then do your echoes in another color of thread. So that would be a really, really cool variation to try with this design. So my name is Leah Day, and this has been a video for the Free Motion Quilting Project. Find hundreds of videos stitching out many beautiful free motion quilting designs at freemotionproject.com. Also check out leahday.com, where you'll find tools and supplies for free motion quilting on your home sewing machine. I know it might seem crazy to say it, but yes, you absolutely can quilt your own quilts on the machine that you own right now. You just might need a few tools to help you out along the way. So definitely check out leahday.com, and thank you for your support. Until next time, let's go quilt.